So today we're going to be showing you one of my favorite builds in Title Update 16. This build is an absolute monster because it does a lot of things really well. And when you get a build that does a lot of things really well, it performs exceptional. So what we'll be doing is showing you guys some legendary gameplay, probably the first two sections of this legendary mission, because these are the more tankier parts, right? So you guys are gonna see some crazy stuff here, a lot of enemies chasing me down, and it wasn't hard at all to really clear out the areas with this build. So the build is definitely a hybrid build. You guys are gonna be seeing a lot of this. Yes, there were some close calls, but if you play this build right, you can do this in solo or in group play and have a ton of fun with it. And what I'll do is I'll show you guys some more gameplay. What we'll do is we'll clear out this first whole section and then we'll go into the build, because obviously if you guys can see, it does what it needs to do, right? Like even when I had those close calls, I still had enough armor to survive, right? And that's why this build has some blue rolls on it, some yellow rolls, and definitely some red rolls. And all the damage that it has on the build allows you to take down these legendary missions. So what I do want to emphasize is your skills do a lot of the damage, but your weapon that you guys can see I'm using, the Capacitor, does a lot of damage too. So they go hand in hand. It allows me to put out damage, it allows my skills to put out damage, and that's why this build is perfect. And if you see, you might see a lot of trophies running around. Well, yep, this is built around the Memento backpack. I always feel like the Memento backpack is great for those hybrid builds because you get a red, a yellow, and blue core. And we'll be showing you the build, so you'll be able to decipher it yourself. But we are using some of the newer pieces that we got in Title Update 16, so it was fun. But look at that heavy. How fast did he go down? That is what I'm talking about. The damage is there, and when you focus fire something, it will melt those big boys. Now, what you'll notice on the build when I do show you it is not everything was God rolled and not everything was maxed out. You guys know I am level 20 expertise, but I specifically didn't want to max this one out because I wanted to show you guys at lower expertise levels this works good. I think my capacitor is only level 8, but most of my pieces were pretty low, and I don't even have God rolls. And look at that heavy, another heavy down. And that's what I'm telling you, enough damage in this area. And this is the hardest section right here of this. When those heavies come down, those shotgunners rush you. I am clearing it. We only had really one scare, and that's what I'm talking about. If you do this build right, if you play this build right, legendaries shouldn't be an issue. So what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're gonna break down the video as we just cleared it out. I think there's only one NPC way in the back, but hey, you guys know what's gonna happen. We'll end up clearing them out. So let's get into the build and let's talk about how I have this bad boy broken down. If we get into the build, you'll notice I was running the Capacitor. Now the reason why you want to run the Capacitor is because it's going to give you a lot of damage for running yellows. So if you notice, our total damage on this is 119,000 damage. We have 8% weapon damage. We have 15% assault rifle damage, 12% damage to armor, and 8.5% health damage. Now, shooting enemies builds a stat cap of 40. Each stat grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds, the stacks do decay. For each skill tier, you gain 7.5% weapon damage. As you guys can see, we're skill tier 5. So that's why this build is an absolute monster. And I think a lot of you guys will enjoy running this build because of the amount of damage you are getting from just the weapon, and not only the weapon but your skills. And remember, for the mods, it comes with 10% crit chance, 30% crit damage, 10% weapon handling, and 11 extra rounds. So it does have 41 in the mag, which is actually really good. For the secondary, you can run whatever you want. I'm typically going to be running with the Capacitor the whole time. If you notice, we are running a Wyvern Wear mask, and the reason why we're doing this is because this is going to give us 10% skill damage. We are going with the Striker Drone and the Assault Turret. Both of these perform really well with skill damage. We have one skill tier on here. We have skill damage as the attribute role. We have crit chance and then a crit chance mod. I decided to stack a little bit more into crit chance so that way we can get as close as we can to 50%. And I'll show you, we should be 50% if I get one better roll on the chest. But that's exactly how I want this piece right here. For the chest piece, we went with the new Brazos chest piece. This is the new gear set. Now remember, a 2-piece gives us 10% skill haste and 1 skill tier. That's how we're able to really gain 5 skill tiers with running a lot of reds and blues, because we have 2 reds on here, 3 blues, and 3 yellows, but then we're still able to get 5 skill tier. So we have armor rolled on here. I'm definitely gonna roll this one. I just figured I kind of should wait until I get a better one before I roll everything on this. I actually just crafted this one, but it has the armor roll, always rolls. But it came with skill damage, which I really wanted. It has weapon handling on here, which I would like to have crit chance, and that'll put me at 50% crit chance. We have a crit chance mod, and then we have kinetic momentum. When in combat, each skill generates a stack. While active or not on cooldown, stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%, up to 15 stacks per skill. Now for our second piece of brazos, this will definitely get better in Title Update 16.1, but right now it's giving me 20% weapon damage here. This is our 2-piece, so it gives us also 1 skill tier. We have skill damage and critical hit damage. Now, this is going to change in Title Update 16.1. That 20% will go to 15%, but you'll be able to roll whatever core attribute you want. The 15% is going to go down to where the attribute roll of skill damage is. You'll still be able to put another attribute on there, so I'll still go with skill damage there. But now I'll be able to actually add another 15% weapon damage on here. So this one piece will give me 30% weapon damage versus 20%. So that's why I'm going to be hitting even harder with this build in TU 16.1. For the knee pads, we have the Foxberry knee pads. Remember, we want that damage targets out of cover for the multiplicative damage. It works great with this build because of the AR. We also have the skill tier on here, and we have skill damage. So exactly how you want to roll this piece. For the gloves, we went with the Fenris gloves because we are running the Capacitor, which is an assault rifle. We get 10% assault rifle damage, 170,000 armor. We have 10% skill damage and then 12% critical hit damage right here. And then finally, what makes everything run well together, the Memento backpack. I think this is probably the best solo player backpack, and even in group play, it does work well. It has weapon damage, armor, skill tier, and then it has critical hit chance mod. Now it has kill confirm. Now remember, based on how many red cores, blue cores, and yellow cores we have, this will improve. And remember, if we have a full 30 stack, that means we can't get all these trophies. We can have up to 30% skill efficiency with that, which is skill haste, skill damage. We'll also get 30% weapon damage, and we'll get 3% armor regen. And then every time we pick up a trophy, we get those small bonuses, which is amazing. And why this build is so good, as you guys saw, was working in Legendary. Definitely works in any heroic content. You can do it solo. If you want to try this, a full solo Legendary, I got about halfway through DCD, and then I got careless, but I was testing it in Legendary to see with the tankiness of the enemies, how it would work solo, and it held up very well. So just something for you guys to keep in mind when you guys are running this build. It will work a lot of different ways. Now you might wonder, well, where are you getting your other skill tier? Because I do count 4. Well, the 5th and final is from the Specialization, the Technician class. Remember, the Technician class gives you 1 skill tier 2, plus it has skill damage from there. So you get another 10% skill damage. So that's why this is definitely the way I would run my build, and that's how you guys can see. So if you guys want to see this build in action, there'll be a little bit more gameplay, so that way you guys can just see. But definitely that Legendary gameplay was for you guys to know it does work on the harder difficulty. If you check out the stats real quick, 44% crit chance, that'd be 50% if we get that chest piece rolled right, 98% crit damage, 75% headshot damage, 12% armor damage, and then we do have that 8% damage to targets out of cover. So a lot of multiplicative damage here, and that's why this build works really good, because the skills are gonna be hitting hard, but you're also going to be hit hard because of the crit chance, crit damage, and the extra bonuses you're getting from the Capacitor. So that's the build right there. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the rest of the video. I'll see you guys in the round. Nothing but skills out.